Okay, I'm gonna start this with a confession or a hot take, and you're probably not gonna like it, but I'm just gonna put it out on the table. I don't quite get the love for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like a lot of people, I never read the Guardians of the Galaxy comics and was completely baffled when the first movie was announced. It was a pleasant surprise. I really liked the movie, and I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is even better. I think these are good movies bolstered up by really strong storytelling. But the Guardians of the Galaxy as a team overall, I just find to be incredibly one-note. Oh look, it's a pack of dysfunctional rogues. Oh god, how will they work together as a team? Answer, they don't really. They're not very good at this at all. No one even knows who their names are, they're that second rate. And they don't always get along, as they've got some strong characters here. They've got such strong characters as the Fry and Leela archetypes, Space Timon and Pumbaa, and Patrick Star. Watch as they battle hell beasts from space that in any other movie would be a huge great big deal, but they do it with sarcastic quips that undercut the danger every single time, all set to your favorite needle drop music of the 80s. Isn't it just so subversive? Again, don't get me wrong, I like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2 plenty, but I think those movies are very much bolstered up by good direction and good storytelling, but I don't care much for the Guardians of the Galaxy as an overall unit. There, I said what I said. Nothing wrong with it if you do, and if you do find substance in there that I don't, all power to you. Guardians of the Galaxy will be the second video game in Square Enix's new Marvel universe of video games. And the cycle begins again. I'm really trying to get excited about it, but I just am not. We're once again back with what looks like a knockoff version of the MCU. I understand they don't just want to do the MCU thing for these movies, but again, it just feels like a knockoff of the MCU as opposed to being its own separate Marvel universe. So what you end up with isn't something that really has entirely its own style. It just looks more like the MCU through the uncanny filter. And once again, all of those tropes about the Guardians of the Galaxy are here in full force. You've got I Need a Hero playing. They're making jokes and quips. We've got the same jokes of people getting Star-Lord's name wrong. They low-key want to kill each other, but they high-key all love each other like a family. It's all here. And it does make me wonder if there is any way of putting a new twist on that, or if the Guardians of the Galaxy are just pretty much restricted to what we know them to be. I'm not asking for them to defeat the object entirely, but we're not really seeing anything done with that Guardians of the Galaxy archetype in this trailer. It's just all the same stuff we've seen before, much like the Avengers trailer was, which just looked like it was trying to ape the Whedon Avengers movies. The Guardians movies have had the good merits of great storytelling, but if we're going by the Avengers game, where the storytelling was shit, I have my doubts about the upcoming Guardians experience. Now, even the best superhero games suffer from some pretty bad storytelling. For example, Spider-Man Miles Morales, the Arkham series. But that still doesn't change the fact that these are great games, but I think that's also thanks to characters like Batman and Spider-Man really traversing well into the video game genre. Whereas I think the Guardians might have a bit more trouble with that. Not to mention, the Guardians are a super team, and according to this trailer, it looks like we can only play as Star-Lord in this one. Why not just call the game Star-Lord and have some fun with the character of Star-Lord separate to the Guardians of the Galaxy to see some new character dynamics? I guess that would be too hard to market. Either that or Square Enix just doesn't have the faith in Star-Lord by himself as a character. Maybe I'm just asking too much here. Now, again, I don't want to seem arrogant or mean or anything. I love games like Spider-Man Miles Morales. Heck, I enjoyed the Avengers game a lot as a multiplayer experience, but it still left a lot to be desired from character and story, and the gameplay wasn't exactly imaginative. It was a lot of just bashing up enemies. It was basically a glorified brawler, and all we really see of gameplay here is just a glorified brawler. All of the issues I had with the Avengers upon its inception, I have with this. And with the Avengers, I found it to be perfectly mediocre. A lot more fun to play as a multiplayer experience. But with this, it's just Star-Lord that you play as, so I'm assuming that there's not going to be a multiplayer option with this one. But also, is there not something we're forgetting here? I thought the Avengers was supposed to be a live service game. Could we not have these characters just fold into the Avengers game instead? Also, it's been like a million billion years since the Avengers game came out with the promise of a playable Spider-Man on the box. Where is he? Where's Spider-Man? You guys are turning me into J. Jonah Jameson here. I hate to sound so negative, because I really want to like this game, and I'm hoping that as more comes out, I'll be able to say, hey, there's more noteworthy things here. I'm definitely happy to own the first Avengers game, but would I pay full price for it? Fuck no, and I got way more enjoyment out of the LEGO Marvel Superheroes games. The point is, the first Avengers game came out with a formula that I just wasn't very impressed by, and neither were a lot of people. This Guardians of the Galaxy trailer does nothing to dispel that formula will change going forward or become any more interesting. And that's really my big issue more so than anything else, as well as that I would really appreciate if these games would try to cover some new ground that the films have not already covered to pretty much perfection. The Marvel Universe is a goldmine of an IP to operate in. Maybe even more so for video games than for movies, as you can just be that more expansive with a video game. You can spend more time with these characters and empathize with them just much more. The video game medium allows for so much more exploration than these little 2-hour movies do. But the Avengers game just didn't do any of that. It did it less than one singular Avengers movie did. And this game looks to be no different so far. I hope to be proven wrong, I really do, which is why I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to keep following updates as they come. But right now, this doesn't make my pee-pee hard, it makes me yawn. It makes my pee-pee sad. The semi that the Sonic Colors Ultimate footage gave me has been well and truly deflated, like a little balloon. I fucking hate this allegory, and so should you. Honestly, guys, I just think we're better off with LEGO making these Marvel games. I mean, as it stands, the ability set that the Avengers game offered us wasn't exactly much more elaborate than what we had in the fucking LEGO games, which are games that pride themselves on simplicity. Why could I do more as Iron Man in those games than I could the Avengers game itself? What is this? I don't think Square Enix are rising to the challenge with the Marvel Universe. I think what we're getting is just mediocrity. This trailer is mediocrity. I'm just not excited about this. I like the Guardians of the Galaxy just fine, but I think you're gonna need a much more ambitious developer than Square Enix to make them fly, you know? I'd much rather see the Marvel Universe in the hands of Insomniac, to be honest, but, like, hey, I guess I'm just asking for too much. I guess my expectations are too high. I don't know. I hate being this negative in videos. It's not my shtick. It's not what I'm about, but I just can't find anything to get excited or optimistic about here. It's just nothing. It's non-existent. These new Marvel games are just non-existent. Thank God. Thank God we have the Insomniac Spider-Man games to give Marvel something noteworthy going on. Then again, it is what it is. I guess conquering the film medium is one thing, but asking to conquer video games as a medium maybe is asking perhaps a little too much of the entire Marvel universe, and maybe it's all just best left to Spider-Man. Well, what do you guys think? I hope you have some more positive thoughts on this matter, and if you do, share them below. Anyways, guys, feel free to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below is links to my social media feeds, as well as my Patreon where you can come and go the extra mile to support me, which would be really epic of you. A special shout out goes to the patrons in the $10 tier. That is Sirius the Skeptic, Marcus Ward, and Biotin Arts. Your generosity means the world to me, and I love you from the bottom of my heart. As for the rest of you guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.